Hi again guys, I am back with a tutorial this time. This is going to be a tutorial on the excellent new Hexaminx here from Calvin's Puzzles, which you saw my unboxing of hopefully a few days ago. So I'm going to do a tutorial with that. The reason I've got this other Megaminx here is this Hexaminx is basically exactly the same as solving this Megaminx. You can probably tell by the stickers this isn't a regular Megaminx, this is a Super Megaminx or Pokémon Megaminx. The difference between this and a regular Megaminx is the colours around the centres. Basically, you can ignore the colours on the edge pieces, edges and corners. They play no part in the solve. The extra bands, I mean, obviously the actual colour of the sticker matters. But the centres have to be oriented correctly, so you can see the blue bar points to the blue face and the orange bar points to the orange face, etc. Basically that's kind of what you've got to do with the Hexaminx. Now you haven't got the colours on there, but the centres do need to be oriented correctly, so you do need to solve it in basically exactly the same way as you solve this Megaminx here. So what I'm going to do is kind of like a side-by-side solve, so you can sort of see exactly what's going on, why you do what you do on the Hexaminx here. As compared to a regular Megaminx, so that you can see which pieces correspond to which pieces from the Hexaminx to the Megaminx, etc., and the way you insert them and everything like that. So yeah, that's basically how I'm going to do this. So I'll start off by scrambling these. Obviously you don't need to see that, so I'll be back when I've done them. Alright then, so as you can see, both puzzles are now scrambled. A few things I should have mentioned earlier. You need to know to be able to solve this Hexaminx. Obviously you should be familiar with the Megaminx first and confident with solving it. If you've solved a super cube or a picture cube 3x3 or even a Megaminx if possible, then that would be beneficial, but it's not essential. You should be slightly familiar with F2L as well on 3x3 if possible, because you will need some of that as well later in the solve when we get to the last layer, but that's for later on. But obviously I will go through things at the time. But if you are familiar with how F2L works on a 3x3, then that's going to help you out as well when solving this, just make things a little bit easier. Now the first thing we have to do is figure out exactly what is what on this Hexaminx. Because everything's a different shape, it can be a bit difficult to figure out exactly what are edges and what are corners. Obviously in the Megaminx it's obvious which ones are edges and which ones are corners. On the Hexaminx it's not quite so straightforward. So if you haven't already figured it out on yours, I'll just show you what's what. You probably should, just in the process of scrambling it, because you can't scramble it properly really until you figure out exactly what's what. So basically, obviously you've got your centres, which are all the pentagon shaped pieces. You've got 12 of those. You've got these three-piece corners here, sorry, three colour corners here, which are obviously corners, you can tell by their shape. You then got these kind of fat pieces with a small triangle attached to them. They are also corners. For edges, you've got anything basically that's long and thin, like the, let's see, this red and yellow piece here, they are edges. Any piece that looks like that is an edge piece, and also these kind of just fat bar shaped ones, they are also edge pieces. So that's all your pieces. Obviously basically to turn each time you're going to need to line up your edges with your centres, and that lines up the cut here, and that will allow you to turn a piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with similar to a white cross on the white face. I'm going to start off with the white face because that's what I always do. You're welcome to start where you normally do, but even on the Hexaminx, what I do is start on one of the white centerpieces there. Obviously you've got two on this, which obviously makes things a little bit more complicated than they are in the Megaminx. But yeah, start on one of the white ones, and then you can follow along the way I'm doing this as well. So on the Super Cube, what I do is I orient all my centerpieces first on the first layer. The way I'm going to do this is to build up layer by layer until the final layer at the top. That's the way I solve the Megaminx. If you do it differently, you might want to do it this way for now until you figured it out. I've never followed anybody else's tutorial, so I might insert some edges and things a bit differently to what other people do. But if you are confident on the Megaminx and want to do it your own way, that's fine. As long as you're inserting the pieces, edges and things the right way around, then all should be good. So yeah, what I need to do here is point the, you see I've got this purple bar pointed at the purple face, green bar pointed at the green face, but on the purple face the white bar isn't pointing at the white face, so I'll just correct that now. I'll put the white face there, the white bar there, the white bar there, the white bar facing the white, and same there. On the Hexaminx things are a bit different. Obviously we haven't got any coloured bars to tell us which way things pointed, but what we have to do is remember how it was oriented when we first started solving the puzzle. Now you might not have noticed this when you scrambled yours, but basically what you have is each pentagon's got like a square section and a point, like kind of like a little, you know, child's drawing of a house. The bits of the house which are the roofs will be pointing away from each other, opposites. So if we start on this face, we can orient that centre correctly, but how do you orient this orange piece here? Well, basically the roof will point towards the white face on this one, and the one on the other side will be exactly the same, except it will point away from it. Now we don't have to worry about that just yet. We're just going to do the ones, because these will get turned while we're inserting these first layers, so we're just going to do the ones that are around this first centre. So imagine if we're solving the white face here, we want these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centres that are around it oriented correctly. So if I'm going to start on this one, then I've got this one oriented correctly, I've got this one oriented correctly, on this green one oriented correctly. Now on this side what will happen is the ones that are sort of like have the roofs pointing at them, well, we're lined up somewhere wrong. There we go. So yeah, as I was saying, you've got the orange roof pointing at the white, but then you have the white roof pointing between the two greens, so you'll have the green roofs pointing away from each other at 90-degree angles to the way the white pieces are oriented. So you hope you see that there. The way the orange piece points towards the white pieces is exactly the same way as that white centre needs to point towards the green centres. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 centres, so we've got one more, which is this red one here, and once again that needs to be opposite to the way this orange one is, so you're going to have the roof shaped piece pointing towards the white centre pieces. And that's now our 5 centres. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the white centre that we're working on. So remember this one, that's the one we're working on when we come back to it in a second. Okay, so on our regular Hexaminx, the next thing we do is to insert all our edges on our first layer. Now I can see straight away I've actually got a couple of the white edges that are on the white face but oriented wrongly. So the first thing I do is just bring it down out of the way and turn it away from the face it was on, and bring that face back so that we keep our centre oriented the same right way. You can see the white bar is pointing towards the white face still, and we've now got this white and yellow edge which obviously needs to go in here. So all I'm going to do is start bringing it around to a face adjacent to the one we want it on, and then what I do is I turn this yellow face slightly away from the white until I can insert this white edge in the correct position. You can see that the two bars line up as they are there, so obviously they are matched in position, and I've turned it back up. You can see that I've solved the first edge that is in position. So going on to our Hexaminx here, the first thing I'm going to look for is the piece that goes between the two centres, which is a fat white bar, which is, as you can see, it's hiding in there. It can be a bit tricky to see them sometimes because of the way the pieces overlap, but you can see it's down behind these two corner pieces here. So what I need to do is a very similar kind of thing. Now this is the centre we're working on. That one should all be oriented correctly. So all I'm going to do is the white centre it attaches to, turn it off slightly. You can see that then I can now just turn this edge piece into position. I can turn the white centre back where it belongs, so everything's matched up the way it needs to be, and turn this red centre back so it's pointing back at the white the way, so that's oriented correctly. So that's the first edge piece in, and when we then just continue like that on the Super Hexaminx here. So I've got the white purple here, it's in the right spot but wrongly oriented, so I'll do basically the same thing again. I will turn it away, remove it from the centre and bring this back. And basically it's the same kind of thing as I did before with the yellow. If I bring the white, the position it belongs to, adjacent to it, so I can see that once I turn this piece up, it'll be matched up with that centre. So what I did obviously is currently oriented the right way to the white. I need to move it away from the correct orientation, insert the edge piece into it, and then move it back. And of course I've disturbed this face at the moment, so I need to move that back as well. I can see I've got the white blue here, so once again it's on the face it belongs to, so just turn it out of the way slightly. To bring it into matching I need to move it up here, so I need the slot it belongs in down there, so bring this white bar to there, so I can then match it up with where it needs to go and put it in position. I've disturbed my purple face at the time, so I need to turn that back. So I've now got those three edges solved. And let's see, where's my white and orange edge piece? Well, I've got the white green there, let's do this one. So the green face is down here. If I put that there, I can then bring the slot it belongs to around, so there, put the green edge piece in there and take it back to the white face. Check my centres, make sure I haven't disturbed anything, everything seems still solved, and my final edge piece is here, the orange white. So again, turn the slot into position to make it available, put the orange white edge piece into it and turn it back. So all my centres are, obviously I've disturbed this green face in that process, so just turn that back to where it belongs, and you can see that all my edges on that face are now solved. So moving on to the Hexaminx, we need to do similar things. Now things can get a little bit tricky here because you've got two of every piece. Now what I'm looking for first is a white orange edge piece to go on this one. Now you're going to see you've got one white orange there, and keep your finger on that for a second. Where's my other one? It's here. Now looking at them there, they look pretty much identical, but I assure you they're not. You've got to get the right ones in the right places. So this is the centre I'm working on. So what I'm going to need to do is see if this orange piece here will match up with this orange centre, and that's how you figure out whether it's the right one or not. Now I know the orange centre here is, the white centre is here, so it needs to go between those two centre pieces. So all I'm going to do is just bring it around to a position where I can match it up to the orange centrepiece. Now at the moment it doesn't work, because if I just turn it in its position, I'm getting the white piece, or the white section of it, next to the orange centrepiece, so that's no good to me. So what I need to do is flip it, so all I have to do is just move it onto the other face here on the yellow, turn it one section over so the edge matches with the centre, and just put this centre back in its correct position, the green one here, where it came from, so its root is pointing opposite each other with the green centrepiece. So I've got my white orange piece here. Now let's have a look. I can now rotate it, the orange section. You can see it doesn't match on to the orange centrepiece at all, so turn it away and try it again. Now I can tell you that the only time these ever match up is when they're matched up with the roof sides, the two sides that are shorter. You can see that's only a short edge, so it's not going to match up with any of the three longer edges, so it's only ever going to go to the short edge when you're looking at this small triangle colour. So just spin that around so that you bring it into that position, which isn't there, it's next one. You can see that that does now match up. The orange matches, the orange triangle matches the orange centre there. It can take a little bit of trial and error before you get the hang of that, but you will eventually figure out which ones go where. And I've been matching it up with my wrong centrepiece all along, so let's try that again. So clearly that belongs to that centre, so it must be the other orange white piece that belongs to this centre. So bring it across here. You can see this is my orange white edge piece. Just to show you exactly how you can do this wrong as well, of course. That's what that was, deliberate. So yeah, then you turn your orange centerpiece here and see if this will then match up with that side. And I've got this twisted, so just put that into the right position. You'll find sometimes when you're turning things, you accidentally turn other sides slightly. So let's see. As you can see, that matches up with that centerpiece. So hopefully it will match up. Right, that actually matches up with the wrong white centerpiece. So the original orange white over here is actually the correct one, which means it actually belongs to this side of this center. So let's just sort that out now. If we bring that edge that it belongs to over here, we can turn this top face and bring it down. You can see then that that orange triangle does match that orange centerpiece, and we turn that into the position of the correct white centerpiece. Let's just make sure all our centers are reoriented. This green one's out of position now from moving things around, so just put that back where it belongs. Just makes things a little bit easier in the coming moves. Alright, so now we've got two of our edge pieces in. We now need to find another one, so we need a green white one. So let's find our green white edges. I've got one right here, so let's see first of all if this is the correct one. You can see that the white piece here is the small triangle, so we need to see if that matches up with our white centerpiece here. If it doesn't, then we need to find the other one. So let's put it into the position next to this white center. As you can see, it does actually match up, but it's not lined up with our green center at the moment. So what we need to do is what we were doing on the Super Hexaminx over there. Just turn it away. You can see that this is the correct orientation, and it was one slot out, so it was basically turning it 1/5 of a turn to get it matched up. So if we remove it from that centerpiece, turn that centerpiece 1/5 of the turn, which basically just means you line up the next edge along here. So you can see that the edges are currently pointed at the white, point it at the next center. We can now rotate that white green piece in, and it should match up perfectly with our green center, as it does, and bring that back to our white. You can see that that matches. When I say matches, the shape has to be flat where they meet, because this is going to be basically a flat face. And that's 3 of our edges done. Alright, so that's 3 of our white edge pieces done. We now need to move on to our 4th one, which is the second white green edge piece. We've got the green center there already oranged correctly. We've already got this white green edge in here, so we know that the remaining white green edge has to be the one that fits between these two. So let's find here's the white green edge over here. Now we know that the small triangles match up with the roof of the house shape. The fat edges match up with the floor of the house shape. So these edges have to match with the side. You see where this green edge has got the longer end of these edge pieces. It has to match up with the side of the house, and obviously it's going to be this side that points towards our white face. Now we've got our green white edge here. If we rotate that side around to meet it, and we can then just turn it down into position. As you can see, it matches up with the green center there, and just turn it back into position. So the white matches up. So as you can see, when I say matches up, obviously it has to be level. The pieces have to fit the correct shape, because obviously the white face is going to be a flat side when the puzzle is completed. And finally, we need a white red edge piece. Since we've luckily got one next to the red center here. Let's see if it's the correct one. It's not. You can see it's actually incorrect shape when it's matched up with the white. So although it looks like it's correct on the red center, it's actually matched up with the wrong side of it, and therefore it doesn't match up with this white center. It actually belongs to the other center over here, as you can see. So we need to find our other white red edge piece. We know that this one's the incorrect one, so the other one has to be the right one. Where is it? Has it fallen off my puzzle again? Is it hiding from me? Where are you? I've probably turned past it 3 times, because that's quite common for me. Ah, there we are. White red. So you can see it's on our green face here. So let's just rotate it around there, so it's out of the way. Move it from that green face and bring the green face back, so we're not messing up our currently solved piece. And obviously it's the wrong way around, so we need to flip it. So take it to another center and move it out of the way. And what we're going to do is just bring it back to the correct centre, but as you can see that's the wrong position. We need that, need it to match up with that roof piece, as I've been saying. So I'll bring the roof piece around, bring the red piece up to meet the centre, and turn the centre back into the correct position. And when it's in its correct position, the white will also line up with the white centre. So as you can see, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white centres solved, just like we have on our regular Super Mega Minx here. And that's the end of this video. The next video will show you how to put in the first layer corners, and probably the next layer of edges as well, just to fill out a video. And yeah, so stay tuned for the next video coming soon. Thanks for watching. Hope this video is helpful to you, and I'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye.